People are like, so like, what do you do? I'm like,
just like, I do things.
I do the things.
I do the things. I do all the things. So, Austin Myrna, who are you?
I don't even know who I am yet. So I'm figuring that part out.
Hold on, athlete test.
Athlete test?
So, tell me more about yourself. What do you do?
I do Catholic YouTube stuff. I made videos started last summer, and then I went to college, and college was a wrecking ball for me first semester, and I didn't really make videos. And then now I'm starting to make videos again. Not really though. Like,
No, I know. I saw you post a few.
I posted a few. My YouTube's just Austin Myrna.
So, we're chatting today
We were chatting.
about. We already kind of talked about it, but I love like this is like literally one of my first videos. I'm already diving into like the tough,
Yes!
like, controversial stuff.
Controversy's fun!
Here we go.
Christians and homosexuality. And the topic pisses me off on so many levels because people don't realize what actually, it just doesn't make sense to some people. And it doesn't correlate. They're like, those dudes can't be together. When in reality, they can. And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did, for you viewers, I just did a presentation on this in my, theology class. I go to Benedictine. I don't know if I already said that. So I had to give a presentation. It was a debate, but, the majority of the people in the room were Catholics. So it was more or less just a conversation. And our group was supposed to talk about homosexuality, transgenderism, and, gender identity and all this stuff. Which was, at first, a really heavy topic to cover because it's relatively new. There's nothing in the catechism about it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there are points that you can make from the Bible, which they are true. There's a lot of things in there. But it's, really up for, okay, what do we mean by this? Because, the only people that have, officially established, the church's teachings on this are the pontiffs and the popes. Those are the only people that have really, said anything about it. And so we can only go based off of them. We talked, our first main point, I guess, when we talked about just gays, lesbians, homosexuals, was that we don't hate gays, homos, and lesbians.
Yeah.
That's a straight up point. Because it's so many people associate Christians with homosexuality, like the West Monroe Baptists. They say, oh my gosh, God hates you, all this stuff, we hate you. And it's no, you're a human, you have dignity, you are loved, you are cherished. Because being a homosexual, having homosexual attractions is normal. That is a normal thing, and some people don't realize it,
It's the attraction, it's not the action. Having that, being drawn to the same sex is a totally normal thing.
It's totally normal. And people don't really realize that. And people they can say that, and then it's one thing to say that, and then say you see, I don't know, a homosexual pride parade on TV, and yes, what are they, probably marching or, speaking out for, maybe homosexual marriages, or, some act that obviously we're not for, but at the same point, I've, heard people oh, the stupid idiots and all this stuff, and it's yes, you can, it's hard because it's you can hate that action, but you can't hate those people because those people are God's children regardless of who they're attracted to. That was just it, basically. A lot of it was, and it was just a very fun time. And a lot of people just don't know it yet, even though the church has come out with so many things. There's been so many speakers publicly at massive conventions who have talked about it, and people just don't understand, I don't think, how to actually accept these people. Which is something our church needs to work on, the Catholic Church in general.
Yeah.
And Christians all around, too. So, yeah, that's the thing, too, that makes me kind of mad. It's when Catholic, this goes for both ways, for, anti-Christians and Christians themselves. They, think that they know, and they don't do the research for it. I think there's, a quote by Fulton Sheen or something like that. It's, I can't remember. It's there's so many people in the world.
I know what I was talking about. There's not a 10,000 people in the world that hate the Catholic Church for what it is.
They hate it for what they think it is.
Yeah.
because people really don't do the research into like what the Catholic Church actually teaches about certain controversial subjects, such as like homosexuality and other things that are relatively new subjects because we've never been taught about it. It's not clear cut in the catechism.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's just a lot of that going around. And personally, I've had experiences with people with homosexuality being attracted to homosexuals, or people who have homosexual attractions. There we go.
Heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of big words. And there's some of like the most joyous-filled people that I know.
Yeah.
Like they literally have so much love for themselves and so much love for others. That's the one thing actually. Like homosexual people. I mean, obviously, like it's not completely true because there are a lot of people who are homosexual who, because they're homosexual, they get harassed a lot and they end up like not loving themselves, which is sad. But there's the other end where I've seen it where people just like they're homosexual and they fully accept that they are homosexual. Now whether they act on it, that's a different story. But like just for themselves, loving themselves for who they are is something I find insanely attractive, and I wish that other people who are heterosexual like myself and others could just be like that. Yeah. Like they're fully proud to be who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's one thing to be proud of who you are, and one thing to be proud of who you are and act poorly on it. I guess, sort of say, you know.
I see what you're saying. All right. So, question time. Let's say I am just a young man that walked up to you at school, and I go, Austin, I am attracted to men.
Okay.
Kind of a weird thing to kind of like jump off the bat, but like that's how I start. Just like, hey, Austin, I hear like you really know what you're doing in the Catholic faith stuff. I'm attracted to men. Like, where do I start?
Where do you start? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. The first thing I would tell him is like, first of all, like, thank you for talking to me. Like, okay, preface. I am not some amazing Catholic that I like claim to be perfect. I'm not a pope. I am like not like.
Shut up.
Seriously, like I don't know the catechism like cover to cover. I don't know the Bible cover to cover. Like I don't know all the church's teachings. So I'm not gonna try and say something that's not creditable and that's not accurate because that's scary. Because if you say the wrong thing instead of just saying I don't know, like also to all you catechumens and people who try to evangelize, saying I don't know is okay. Because it's better than trying to say something that's, like, not right. Mm-hmm. But, what he said, so, like, say if a kid came up to me, well, first of all, what I would say is, like, okay, like, first of all, you're loved. You're loved by me, you're loved by me, and you should be loved by all Catholics and all Christians. But in this world today, that's obviously not the truth. But, because they are, like, somebody who is loved. And then second of all, what I would tell them is talk to a priest. Because now, I could get a lot of hate for saying that, but a lot of people would be like, oh, but what about all the crap that happened with priests and all this stuff? And it's just like, okay, those aren't good priests. Like, straight up. If a priest is doing that, he's not a good priest. Because there are good priests out there. Me and Matt live in Wichita, and, like, we are blessed with an abundant amount of these, and I understand that some parts of the world, there are not even maybe one priest at all. Like in a certain area, and it's hard, but like to actually find a priest and like talk to him about it, because if he is a priest of the Catholic Church and he stands for what he is, and he follows what he follows what is truly taught, he should be a source to where you're very like where you are comfortable. You know what I mean? Because a priest are supposed to be imitators of Christ in persona Christi, and it's their job to do that, and it's their call to do that, more importantly. So that's another thing. Also, like, be proud of who you are, you know? Because it is definitely something that can really hurt someone if they don't know what to do about it. No, yeah. And then it was cool, when I was doing my research over the project, there was this article, and it was talking about how there's a lot of, like, homosexual priests coming out in this time, and how Pope Francis addressed it. He was just like, okay, you're homosexual. Okay, like, you need to do the same thing that heterosexual priests do. Be celibate, like, have celibacy in you, and be celibate. And just follow the church's teachings. Like, you're homosexual, okay, but you're still a person, and you're still Catholic, and you're still a child of God. You're still supposed to follow what the church teaches, and you're still supposed to follow what you are as a child of God. So I guess that's what I would try and say.
Break it down right in front of him.
Breaking it down, I guess.
Dang.
So
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's what I would like to think, anyways.
Just rattle it off right there, just like
yeah.
wherever you are.
Like if I have a priest come up to me and they're like, "You should not have said that," which I don't think anything I said was wrong. I will publicly make a video and just be like, "Okay, I was wrong. Like we all get it now." So, but yeah, those are kind of my 2 cents on that. So,
That's good.
Yeah. Basically, love each other, especially our homosexual brothers and sisters, because they really need it in this time and age. And be there for them. Research your stuff. Don't just say it. Talk to a priest whenever you need in trouble. And always praise God while you're doing all of this. So I'm Austin Myrna. See y'all later, people. Yeah.
What next? Let's be safe.
Let's be safe.
Oh.